Coming up live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. All right, good. Live on all channels. It's your Intrepid Songwriter here, chronicling my adventures as a songwriter, because seriously, who does that? Nobody does that. Nobody tells you what being a songwriter out here, especially in this day and age, is really like, because the laws are constantly changing and because so much is happening. And we, songwriters and writers in general, we are the only industry that has to constantly fight to get paid for our work. I want you to think about that. If you work in the automotive industry, you put your time in, or you're a salaried professional. If you work in the medical industry, if you work in food service, if you work in anything, you put your time in. If you're on the clock, if you're paid on an hourly wage, you put your time in. If you're an independent contractor, if you're a salaried employee, a salaried professional, you put your time in, you get your check. Everybody but us. That's one of the reasons I became the Intrepid Songwriter. That's one of the reasons I went out here like this on this platform, because there's no other industry that I'm aware of where you do your work and then you have to fight to get paid, except us. You have to fight for your rights. You have to fight to get paid. You have to fight for every inch. You got to fight when you're a writer of any kind. But anyway, so let's get on with today's topic. Today's topic is twofold. One is an announcement, and then I'm going to talk about physical media. The announcement that I'm making today is that next year in 2024, I'm going to offer some master classes. I'm going to offer some master classes in copyright, and I'm going to offer some master classes in royalties next year. But they're not going to be cheap, and it's going to be a lot of information. So if you, I will let you know, pay attention to my channel and stay signed up for that, because I will let you know when those classes are dropping. But again, they're not going to be cheap. So I'm doing master classes on copyright next year, and I'm doing master classes on royalties. And it's well worth your time and your money to learn about the ways you get paid, to learn about what you have to do to ensure that you get paid. Because without this masterclass teaching, I can all but guarantee that you have left and are leaving money on the table. And again, can't you see how counterintuitive it is to work and not get paid? And no one else accepts that. No one else even has to deal with that but us. So that's coming up in 2024. So be sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Be sure you follow me on Twitter. Be sure you like and follow my Facebook page, and be sure that you follow me on Instagram, because I will be making announcements next year when those master classes become available. Okay? So that's my announcement. Now, today, what we're going to talk about is physical media. Now, if you want to kind of prepare yourself, prep yourself for the future of where all this content is going, you need to buy physical media. You need to own DVDs, and if you can get your music on vinyl, they make vinyl available. But definitely with any of your entertainment content, not just your music, but anything that you watch, your movies, your TV shows, your video shorts, things like that, you need to, if at all possible, get physical media. That's the only way you can continue to enjoy it at your leisure. You know why? Because streaming is a mess. Okay? Streaming is a mess because it wasn't thought through. And a lot of assumptions were made, and a whole bunch of stuff that went into streaming just turned out to be all wrong. First thing that's wrong with streaming is that it's an unsustainable model. The best model they had was pay-per-view. Pay-per-view is the better model for them, because when studios want to make TV shows and movies, they have to spend tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. Sometimes, you'd be surprised at the actors' salaries alone. There's no way they can make that money back at $12.99, $14.99, $15.99 a month from a small amount of people because the market is also divided. So they rushed to get into the streaming platform because they thought that was the way to go. But again, pay-per-view was the best platform for them if they want to have a chance to make the money back. Because when you watch a movie in the theater, if you want to watch it again, you have to buy another ticket. So if you watch a movie digitally, if you want to watch it again, then you pay again. That's the only way for them to make their money. Streaming is a monthly fee for access to all this content and all their catalog and all that, and that's not sustainable. But the amount of money they have to spend to make that content, $12.99, $13.99, $14.99 a month, is not sustainable where you pay one time and you can watch all that stuff when you get ready. Okay? Which leads me to the next issue. And the next issue was they didn't count on everybody having an app. If it was just, 1, 2, 3 apps or whatever, like it started out, that would be one thing. But what ended up happening is that everybody and their mama created a streaming app, and then they started to have, or they tried to have exclusive content, so they started to button down content that only they own, like Paramount and Star Trek, and then they started trying to create original content. So you had to sign up to this streaming app to watch it. Okay, that may be viable, but only if all of your movies and your shows are bangers. But when you have all these movies and you have all these shows, and out of all those options, maybe 3 or 4 of them are high quality, maybe, then once again, you're not going to have all these people flooding to get to your service. So when you have too many apps available, and when you have not high quality content on all that you produce, there's no way you can make your money back. So let me tell you what's going to happen. And this is why you need to buy physical media. What's going to happen is they're going to boil down to a big two. So there's going to be 2 companies that buy everybody else out. So they're going to McDonald's and Burger King you. They're going to Coke and Pepsi you. They're going to Microsoft and Apple you before it's all over. It's going to come down to 2 big companies that buy up all the streaming apps. And then if you want to get your content, then you got to pick one of the big 2, like Comcast and AT&T on the cable TV tip, or Verizon and AT&T on the cell phone tip. That's what it's going to come down to. Once that happens, they're going to pull a lot of the content offline. And so all this money you paid all along for your digital content, that content is no longer going to be available to you. So you've been paying all this money, you've been paying $150 a year or whatever or so. And you've been paying for all that digital content, but they're going to yank it. They're going to snatch it off the line, and it's not going to be available to you. So it's really more like you're renting it. You're renting access to it. Okay? And then once it comes down to a big 2, they're going to put it together in bundles. It's going to be just like cable TV. They're not going to let you have access to the full catalog. They're not going to let you pick and choose and have the freedom that you do now to have access to all this stuff. They're going to put it together in bundles and say, if you want this, then you got to buy this bundle. And if you want this, you got to buy this bundle. Just like cable TV. Okay? So everything that you like about digital online streaming is going to go away. At least, the legit stuff. People are always going to bootleg stuff, and, that's not the thing to do, illegal downloads, but people are still going to do it. But in terms of the legit stuff, they're going to take all that away. Everything you enjoy about your streaming apps now are going to go away when it gets down to the big 2. And you're going to have to pay more for more access, and you're going to have to pay more for less content. That's the only possible way they could ever make the money back that they need to make for giving you access to that content, because the streaming model as it is now is a mess. It's a loss leader. Everybody rushed to get their own app, to get their own content out, but it's not profitable because there's just too much content available and too little of it is high quality and there's too much competition. But what has happened to consumers is that we have gotten used to having access to our content on all our devices at our convenience. That's what streaming has done. Like I said, the best model they had going was pay per view after cable. That was the best model. But now that consumers have gotten used to all of our content available on all our devices, desktop, laptop, pads, tablets, smartphones. Now that we've gotten used to that, then people aren't going to get unused to that. So they're going to have to find a way to make that kind of access profitable. And the only way to do that is to boil it down to two companies that control all the content and make it bundles and packages, just like cable TV does. Just like when you buy a car, if you buy a car at a base price, that car won't do nothing you want it to do but drive. It won't do nothing you want it to do. You're going to have manual windows. You're going to have manual seat movement stuff. You're going to have a whole bunch of stuff you don't want. So what did they do? They put a whole bunch of packages together and said, well, if you want the car at this level, then we have to add, $10,000 more to the list price. That's what they're going to do. So you better get all the content you like in physical media now. So that's the only way you're going to be able to watch it the way you're used to watching it, which is at your convenience. And the last thing I'll say, the last thing that's going to choke out all the stuff we want to deal with is ads. I'm already tired of ads. I know that's how we get paid on YouTube, so I'm not speaking against them. I'm saying they're annoying. And they cut in the middle of the video, and now on YouTube, you can't watch with ad blockers, and they have to, you have to turn those off and all different kind of stuff, and people are going to have ad tiers and no ad tiers. They already have that on streaming apps, but that's going to escalate. And people are going to get tired of that. You'll see. You'll see all what I'm saying. You'll see. And then when it happens, it's not going to be anything that we're used to now, which is going to be a shame. And you're going to have to pay much more per month than you're paying now to access content. So get your content on physical media today while you still can, because the streaming stuff is going to go up in flames in a very short amount of time. All right, that's my broadcast for today. So remember my announcement about masterclasses coming up next year. And remember to get your physical media going while you still can. Okay? I'll see you next Friday, same time. And no, I won't be on next Friday. I'll be on the road next Friday because I've got author signing show. So I'll see if I can broadcast from my car. If I can broadcast from my car, I will. If not, I will see you in a couple of weeks with my next business and/or music tip from the Intrepid Songwriter. All right? Everybody have a good rest of your Friday. Don't forget the time changes this weekend. Okay? Spring forward, fall back. Okay, so when you wake up, 6 o'clock, it's going to be 5 o'clock. So you got that extra hour of sleep. All right? I'll talk to everybody soon. Intrepid Songwriter, out.